Hey everybody, it's Ree, her Rebel Inks art, here again with another character design challenge. Now, as you saw, today's prompt was Nature Ghost, and I was very excited to get into this one. I knew immediately I wanted to have a character who kind of represented the ghost of all the different life and, animals and plants that had once lived in the forest. So immediately got right into sketching. I wanted her to have a kind of Maury K fashion style. Wild hair, big old eyes. I knew I wanted to work deer horns into her design, have her overflowing with flowers and ferns, and just feel like she'd been lost in the forest for weeks on end. So immediately I got that rough sketch right thrown down, and then started with a cleaned up sketch. Now I restarted on this because I wasn't happy with how the hair was going. I mess around with the hair a couple times, but what I eventually settle on is a nice, very short cropped pixie cut, which I like because it's a very simple look, so it doesn't draw away from everything else that's going on. One thing that I do mess with a bunch in this design is slowly finding ways to take away the humanness of her. So little things like giving her a deer nose, or doing a combination of elf ears and deer ears, or just her big old glowy eyes all kind of give this very eerie sensation to her that I absolutely had a blast working with. So here I'm just going in, adding the details to her outfit so I can make sure that line art goes smoothly. I went with a layered look for her outfit. It was something I found on Pinterest of a combination of a sweater, and then a knit top, a button-down dress, and then a couple layers of petticoats. So it has this nice full look while still feeling kind of thrown together, while still very, I suppose, organized, kind of like somebody is a professional Goodwill hunter, where they find all the good stuff and it's all nice and worn and looks super comfy, but still looks really nice together. I gave her an old-timey candle and started on this deer horn with the facsimile of a flower crown on her head. Just kind of flowers and ferns and mushrooms sprouting out of everywhere. I imagined her kind of being a sort of alternative to the Will-o-Wisp, where instead of leading travelers astray, she'll find lost kids and help them back to their homes. Sort of her way of making sure no other lives get contributed to those lost in the forest. She certainly doesn't need the company. And I'm heading into that line art, making sure those big old eyes with those Bambi eyelashes get really accentuated. Giving her a cute little deer nose and a slightly parted open mouth. And getting in with that faux flower crown. I do some tiny little white flowers, some mushrooms, some ferns and leaves, and then lastly those big old deer horns. Deer horns are a design element that I absolutely love. I love messing with it. I love seeing it. They're so elegant and beautiful, and I love when designs can incorporate them. So of course, when I had a chance to incorporate them in this, I jumped at that. It was all about that. I feel like I could have loaded her head up with quite a few more flowers, but I like how simplistic it looks. Like its easy gentleness. I wanted her to feel very soft, very calm. Like you knew there wasn't something right about her, but she was just sweet enough looking that you didn't quite care. And onto that outfit, starting with that sweater, making sure it has a very fluffy, very soft feeling to it. And you'll see I don't really put a lot of detail. Oh, sorry. Throat decided to die there. You'll see I don't really put a lot of detail into the legs and feet. And the reason for that, we'll see when we get to the coloring portion of this, is that right off the bat, I knew I wanted her to feel like she was fading away. Like the second we caught a glance of her, she had already started to disappear. So what I do for that is I take my airbrush with a bright, vibrant turquoise, and I go ahead and I start from the feet and I slowly fade my way up, and then I duplicate that. I threw it on add, so it's got a nice glowy effect. That way it looks like she's fading from the feet up, and it gives her this very ethereal, very spooky vibe that I'm absolutely in love with. So that's why not a whole lot of detail went into the feet, because I knew I was already going to be covering those up. Because that was something I had planned from right off the bat. I knew it was something that I wanted to incorporate. So right now I'm throwing on the rough colors, just making sure everything's going to look alright together, that none of the colors, repeat themselves too often or clash too much, just making sure everything looks okay. And with that done, I'm going to go ahead and go here and clean up all my colors. So this is where I cover up the majority of the work I just did in order to make it crisper and cleaner and make sure everything just kind of blends nicely. So I cleaned up all the skin tones, I threw a soft blush on her, and I'm adding in these little cream freckles as a kind of throwback to, or not a throwback, that doesn't sound right, but a reference to, the little spots deers have on them when they're babies. I'm cleaning up her hair, her eyebrows, and going through and tidying up that little flower crown of hers. Throwing some little faux pupils in her eyes, giving her some super cute lip color, and filling in her little deer nose. I'm super happy with how cute she turned out. I want to smooch her. She's a cute patoot. Now I'm throwing detail on them butterflies. Make sure I pulled up reference so these things looked okay. And then going through and doing a monarch. And I believe that second one's a painted lady. I'm not as brushed up on my my butterfly types as I used to be. I used to be crazy into that stuff. I could name you like every kind of butterfly. I don't think that's painted lady. Painted lady is the turquoise one, right? That's I want to say that's tiger or something. But regardless of what kind of butterfly it is, I'm going through now. I'm cleaning up the colors on that dress, making sure everything's filling the space it's supposed to. Going through filling in each button, making sure the hands don't have any maroon left on them. And then as soon as that's done, I'm going to go ahead, throw a flame on the candle using the same technique of duplicate and then add to give it a glowy effect like I'm going to be doing here with the turquoise. Just like that. And I went ahead and threw some turquoise on the line art too, just to give it a bit more pop. Because I'm all about pop. Both the drinkable kind and the viewable kind. And then it's time for shadows, my favorite part. Making sure everything's got a nice bit of depth. And while this is going on, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the finished picture so you can see how it turned out. I'm in love. This isn't exactly the idea I had when I started out, but I'm super happy with how she turned out. She's so cute and sweet, and I want to cuddle her and tell her everything's going to be okay. But I can't because she's a drawing, so I'm glad I got to share this with you. If you guys are interested in trying your own character designs, the link to the aesthetic generator is in the description. Feel free to share with me how yours turned out. I'd love to see them. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you had as much fun as I did making this. And you guys have a great day, okay? Bye-bye!